Sister, 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 sister talk, sister, 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 sister talk, sister, 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 sister talk, sister, 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 sister talk. Something on your mind anytime. I'm here to listen. Sister talk when you need someone.
Hello, this is Dietra, Kelsey, host of Sister Talk TV show. We have been out and about taking care of business, but we're back. The superheroes, sister superheroes. That's a good name. I like that. We're back to give you what we have to say from the community. Our voices, our colorful voices, and different hues, as we call it. Okay, today we have our regulars, Rhonda, Hansome, without the D. Use your imagination. Comedian and actress, political cartoonist, Star Davis, actress and publisher of You Can, and also our first time panelist, ROZALYN Shepard, author, singer, entrepreneur, and political consultant. Welcome everybody to Sister Talk TV show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for showing up, So let's just jump into it. All things Trump. No King's Day was shut down. Well, actually, I was about to say No King's Day shut down the country, but over 7 million people participated in the No King's Day march or protest. What do y'all think about this? Who's to blame for this government shutdown? This was the No King's Day. That was their theme. And what's at stake? What do you think? First of all, did you all support the No King's Day?
Absolutely.
I was looking, there wasn't a lot of us there. There was some scattered around, but it wasn't a lot.
I think it's time for all these other Americans to be out there. Black people are out there protesting and doing what we have to do to struggle to get our rights, which end up benefiting more everybody else than it does for us. And I feel like it's time to distribute the humiliation, distribute the brutality. And if you notice, they weren't out there bopping heads and gassing people and shooting rubber bullets and stuff. So, I'm glad people were out there. I'm glad they were doing it. But it was more like a rally than a protest. I feel like it doesn't have a focus. It's all these people out there marching in the street. And the thing about it is that this kind of turnout had been going on in Israel for almost 2 years. They had people in the street by these numbers, at least for a year, if not more than that. And Netanyahu is still walking around doing his thing, shaking hands and getting billions from us. So I give all the people who went out there props. But
so what you think, Star?
I agree with what Rhonda said as far as them not having any kind of a focus. I thought that too. It was a very general message, but I was impressed with the turnout. I think a lot of people are really sick of Trump, but we absolutely need a specific message that needs to get across. And in answer to your question about the shutdown, of course, I'm going to say it's the GOP's fault. I'm going to say Republicans are at fault. They control everything. And the very least that they can do is be professional and at least hear what the Democratic side has to say.
So what's your take, ROZALYN?
Well, I think the fact that we had to have a No King's Day and the fact that we're in a shutdown and nothing's moving forward is a symptom of what we're not doing. For us to be here as a country, what does that say? That we got here to where our democracy is under threat. So when it comes to blame, I think we should all look and make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to do to make sure that things like this doesn't happen.
That's that's an interesting statement. So you're basically saying that we should, like you said, look inward, the regular folk.
I think that when we understand, and I know communities have their own challenges and issues, but the bottom line is just think about it from the fact that we have to have a No Kings protest
Mm-hmm.
in America.
Mm-hmm.
That makes me look at myself and make sure what am I not doing. And I think that's just something that I would put out to people. What are we not doing that we would be in a position like this as a country? That's just my take.
Okay.
I have, I heard recently somebody say that when Trump had said, I could be on Fifth Avenue and shoot anybody and still not lose any voters, what he was really saying, the subtext of that was he was calling the people who support him really stupid. And he said after that, yeah, it's unbelievable. And I think now that he realizes that there are millions and millions of people out there who will support him no matter what it is that he does, whether they be stupid, whether they be racist, whether they be just ignorant of what the facts are. Now that he knows people will support him no matter what, as you see, he doesn't even care whether he looks reckless or not. And I shouldn't say he personally, but the administration specifically. They don't care how reckless they look. They can pardon the most egregious criminal. They don't care what we think. They can cut services for millions and millions of people and then lie on camera, looking right in the camera. The Speaker of the House, oh no, the Speaker of the House saying, oh no, Medicaid is not going to be touched. Medicare is not going to be touched. When in fact, they are going to be touched to pay for this ridiculous tax cut for the billionaires. So what Democrats are hoping for now is at least, at the very least, include the tax subsidies for these Medicare and Medicaid programs, specifically Medicare, I believe, but it may be both. And at least allow people to have the tax incentives and the tax benefits for those programs, if nothing else. And so far, the GOP is not negotiating.
But you know
not willing to
something?
negotiate.
Marjorie Greene is turning against him.
Good
There's
point.
a lot of, not a lot though, but there are a few that are voicing their concerns because, because the people who voted for them said, hey, this is going to affect us as well.
She said it affected her kids.
Dietra, when we are looking at Marjorie Taylor Greene as a voice of reason, we are in trouble. We are in trouble up to our eyeballs. And that does not soothe me to know that she's trying to save her skin because she knows her constituents. It's not just her constituents, it's her kids. She know her kids gonna lose their insurance, their teeth gonna fall out. And all of them know what they've been doing all of this time. And I feel about her like I do about Candace Owens. When I'm in a situation, this society is in a situation of when I gotta say, well, a broken clock is right twice a day. We have gone too far. It's a sad situation.
So you don't think no turning back? You don't think there's no hope? It's gone.
It's a wake-up call. It's a wake-up call.
Whatever happens, it's going to take a minimum of 2 decades to do a course correction from all of this stuff as far as I'm concerned. And Trump has immunity. He's got the Supreme Court. He is refusing to accept judicial judgments that are actually against him. He's attacking networks, law firms, universities. I mean, he said day one he was going to be a dictator. I don't even know why people acting surprised. He said he was going to do it. He said he was going to get revenge on all of his enemies. He's doing it.
Well, he's trying.
Yeah, I think that
As far as revenge on his enemies, I mean, as far as at least our state attorney general, there is no evidence to prove, because she didn't commit a crime. She bought a house.
yes.
She bought a house for her niece.
Star, we've been doing this for a long time, and I respect you, but you absolutely know that whether there is evidence or not does not matter, whether it is real or not. He is an entertainer, he is a con man, he's a showman, he's a snake oil salesman.
Master manipulator.
And he's manipulating the the press to say these things, whether or not she's actually guilty of anything doesn't matter at this moment, when he has a fire hose that he's spraying against everyone and anyone who he feels is against him, even people he appointed.
Roz, let me ask you.
And I mean, when I brought that up, I just
go ahead.
Can I just say, when I brought that up, it certainly wasn't to imply that there was any kind of validity to that ridiculous indictment at all. So I didn't want to imply that I thought, there was even anything to defend. But I guess I said all of that to say, because there is nothing to defend, this is just yet another waste of taxpayer money.
And a distraction for Epstein. Roz, I wanted to ask you that.
And a distraction.
Yeah, I wanted
from Epstein and everything else, and the $20 billion bailout to Argentina. And
that's
it's crazy. $40 billion now, Star. They jacked it up the next day, $20 billion, girl.
So, Roz, do you think there's any hope there's going to be a turnaround? Do you disagree with Rhonda that it may take 20 years to go back to the way it used to be? I don't know what that means, though, but do you think?
Yeah, to get back to the crappy way. Yeah, it's going to take 20 years to get back to the crappy way.
I disagree with that.
I think the first thing that I think, to answer your question, I think the first thing we have to look at is how did we get here in order to fix it.
So how did we get here?
Right, but I just want to say this. Once we look at how did we get here, then we can figure out how we can fix it, because it may take not long. It may take longer. It's serving as a wake-up call, but most of the narrative and most of the conversations is about what's going on, as opposed to how did we get here. Because if you have a home, or you in your home is steadily declining, at some point you're going to do something about that. You're going to address the problems and things like that. And I'm not saying that we haven't. So what I'm saying is, to what Einstein said, you cannot fix the problems that were created with the same thinking that created them. And the conversations that need to happen to be able to fix this, when I look at it, I think what Star said, it's not only his base, but we have to look at it from the standpoint. Remember the Mueller report, remember the impeachments, and remember all of that. There were people in power to be able, I'm not saying, look, if he's innocent, he's innocent. I'm not pro, con, Trump, or some of the policies that he has, like I read today, that with the SNAP program, they're going to base the city's funding on, or the state's funding on their error rate, meaning that they're going to hold the states accountable for making sure that they don't squander this money. And that's important. That's important. And so they brought it down to a certain number, and they're giving them to 2028 to fix the system. So when you look at it, you have to look at it from a balanced perspective. The things that make people angry, which is understandable. I mean, there's no, you just bounce and no have things that make it, as much as you love them, you'll find things that make it. But when we look at this, we have to look at this from a balanced perspective. You have people who won't even read, and you didn't bring it up.
Let's get to it. So people are still not awake.
And that's what I said.
And even what's happening now what's happening now, people. This is what I'm getting from.
No,
They still sleeping. Let's talk about the 300,000
and I don't
women
want,
that
I don't
have
want to say
lost.
it's sleeping, but I want to say if we take a different approach, because I don't want to make it, it's not that people are not doing, because people are engaged, people are trying to figure it out. This is not an indictment on people. It's just that we need a different thinking to be able to, we have to realize that we need to think differently in order to solve this, because the thinking that got us here is not going to be the thinking that
Okay.
solves it.
Okay, let's talk
Well,
about the
I hear you. I
300,000.
hear you,
Because of
Rosalind.
time, because of time, let's talk about the 300,000 women that have been fired or left or what have you. How that will impact us as a community. Any, any, any.
Well, I mean, what is there to say? It seems like they went specifically for positions that required them to be regulated. They went for a lot of positions that held the administrative accountable. And they went for a lot of positions, like you said, 300,000 positions held by Black women who are now unemployed.
I saw something where a a woman who was furloughed also is showing up. She showed up at the King's Day protest and collecting food. And one of the things she said really struck me. She said these furloughed people, the people that's laid off, she said they told her they are hungry.
Mm.
They don't have money to eat. So it's like we have a short window of opportunity to move this needle in a different direction.
Uh-huh.
Short window of opportunity, because all the things, it's very apparent how we're going to be impacted when the tariffs has impacted the Black community and or minority community. One of the biggest ports, that largest ports in the country, I'm told from my colleagues who work in construction and in different things, that is empty. We're not getting imports, meaning that the
Well, you
shelves are
know,
going to be the shelves are going to be empty.
speaking of the construction company, and I understand what you're saying. Looking
No,
at
but my point
January,
was that the shelves
that
are going to be empty. Uh-huh.
that the construction company has not been hiring our men for a while, way before Trump.
No, this is Black owned.
Okay.
Yeah, this is Black owned. I'm talking about us and what we do. And so, but the bottom line is, what does that mean? So in understanding what each of these things mean and how they're going to impact our community, the narrative, that's why I'm glad you're having this show, so that we can start talking about bringing in people who look like us, who can talk about the solutions. You know, I have solutions. I have other people who have solutions, who work and do this stuff on a regular basis. See, there was a time where we
Okay,
had to go out.
Rhonda's shaking her head. What is it? What you have to say?
I'm not falling for that. That these people look like us. I fell for that for what, 45, 50 years. I fell for
Well, let
that.
me explain it to you,
And
because you're the second person who said that. Let me explain to you.
no. I would
No,
like,
it's not what you think. It's not what you think. So let me explain it.
you don't know what I think.
You, okay.
I am not falling for the people who look like us. And when it comes down to it, you find out that they are not interested in doing anything for foundational Black Americans, that they will fight for immigrants, they'll fight for LGBT, they will fight for all kind of things going on for people who aren't even in the country legally. And when we are being hurt, they're not coming out to help us.
May I address that, please?
Get up.
Now we have the time.
Go
I started my career in the community before I had a professional career. So my whole career was working in the community. So when I say people that look like us, I'm talking about me. I'm talking about, wait, let me explain it, because if we
That is
don't get a
very
different
important.
narrative, I understand what you mean when you say, and you're absolutely right, because I deal with that every day, Rhonda. Gatekeepers that keep us out, that line their pockets, that have their own agenda. They sell our community out. That's not what I'm talking about.
So they're the master
I'm not talking
manipulators,
about
just
that.
like
I'm
Trump.
talking about what I built and I spent my career building it, because see, when you see a problem, then make a solution. So that's what I did. I made sure that I'm not one of those people that sell them out as a consultant. And so I align myself with people who are like me. So when I say people who look like, believe me, these people have been vetted. These people are for the community and they have a track record of, and they have a history. It is not like they talk it, they live it. And they've been living it for decades. And so identifying them, I have a nonprofit. I bring this back to the community, but I totally understand what you mean when you said that. And I work to protect that. And it goes back, Dietra, to what you said.
Okay.
And this is what I'm talking about. I'm doing what I'm talking about. It's not something I'm thinking about. This is not something I want to do. I'm actually
You're
doing
walking
it.
that,
And
you're
so,
not just talking.
no, but I want to make this
Well,
point.
I want
You
you
know,
made
I
it
just
clear,
want,
but
can
I
I
gotta
please?
move on. Roz, I gotta move on. Letitia James indictment. I think that's very important. It's very important what we are talking about. Over 300,000 Black women have lost their jobs, and probably other men too that's not being in the press. Um, Letitia James. She's being indicted, and all these taxpayers' money is going to her indictment over something that is just very frivolous. You know, there's an agenda behind that, and I'm just trying to figure out what can we do to stop this. You know, we're donating money, we're going to the No Kings march and all that. What's next? What do we do? I mean,
I just
because
want to say on that Letitia James, on Tish James, in 2000, I helped found an organization called the Professionals, and it was after Giuliani left office, and people of color had no access to City Hall and contracts. And we had a burgeoning number of entrepreneurs coming through. So we formed it. I brought the elected officials together with the professionals, and she came through. She got involved with politics. And so I think to see her going through what she's going through right now, it comes with the territory. And so I just look at things and I talk about things from a different perspective because of, what I do, and because of the fact that I'm behind the scenes in politics and stuff like that. But it just comes with the territory. And for me, it just goes back to, there's some things that we can do differently and not just the Black community, but every community, that can make sure that these type of things are minimized.
you know something, this is something weird that we're going through. And it may have gone through another lifetime that we're not experienced. But in all due respect, I don't think this what's happening is not what comes with the territory.
I agree.
It's
Something
not.
I
is
agree.
It
Manufactured
can
criminal
shift.
cases against somebody over stupid,
It can shift.
non-existent charges.
but, but what
It's further. It's another example of their recklessness by way of them just not caring.
and
They
George
feel so
Santos
confident.
say that
They feel
George,
so confident
yeah,
that they don't care. And I
yeah.
think and I understand what you're saying, ROZALYN, we absolutely need to move forward and think solution based. And I am excited with some of the candidates who are coming in, congressional candidates who are coming in, younger, more forward thinking, more willing to take action instead of, okay, if you have, I'll put it this way, the they go low, we go high should be how things are resolved. However, that is not realistic under these circumstances.
But you know something, before we go to the next subject, I do want to say that I do understand about looking inward, changing the thinking. Something has to give because it's not working.
No,
The
it's not.
protesting and all that is maybe the internet
Protesting
may
does
work.
work, though. As a matter of
It
fact,
does work, but if
Trump is trying to even make that illegal. Okay.
it does work, For me, whatever he's trying to do, if to me, it's like I want to sit in a room and talk about what we can do. That's what I do. And so it does work. The protest, everything has its place, everything. But if there's no coming together, a meeting of the minds, or narratives begin that can fuel those kind of conversations, then the strategies don't come. And one of the things that I think, Rhonda, you just said it, that the King's protest didn't really have a goal other than just to,
Just talk and make
so
speeches.
so I look at what we have and the fact that people are willing to come out and protect it, protest, proud of that and everything. And we just need to fill the gaps. And we can do that by starting in our own community, starting with ourselves. It's not about Trump. I'm not against Trump. I'm against anything that's wrong. That's what I'm against. If it's wrong, I don't care if it's coming from a Democrat, a cat, a dog, it doesn't matter. Me, it's wrong. So
Okay.
I don't make the narrative about Trump. I make the narrative about what's wrong and what's
What
inhumane.
we should do.
Yeah. And then
Because
to
we've
go
been in
from
the
there.
desert too long, 40 years plus. Hey, I want the viewers of Sister Talk to know what you all are doing, especially you, Rosalind. You're the new sister on the block, you could say. So we're gonna start with you. Who are you? What do you do? And what's coming up?
I am just, a human being that think that it's important to keep our humanity in anything that we do. And it seems like our world has lost its humanity. And I think I'd love to see more of us have conversations about how do we restore that humanity in any area, in the
So what's your
entertainment
organization
and
about?
politics and stuff like that.
So
I
what's your
have my company is Rise Network LLC, and I also have Rise Network CDC, which is a Community Development Corporation. And the Community Development Corporation, I work with grassroots leaders and grassroots people. We provide education, training, and resources for community development. Because I think we got some awesome people that want to do. We just need, scripture says, my people die for the lack of knowledge. So it goes back around to what I was saying, that people that look like us who've been behind the scenes. I've been in the meetings with the Black
and that's what
Caucus.
your book is about too, right? What's the name of your book?
I've been in the meetings with the Black Caucus and heard what they have to say. So
Dude,
in terms of the
we're
book,
talking about you right now.
no,
Your book.
this
What's your
is
book
how I
called?
talk about me. So just give me a minute. I'm going to get to it and it'll be over. So I
Okay.
was leading that up to the fact that my book has a lot to do with the community. It's called Lifeguard Your Inner Child, and it's a book about healing trauma. So
Okay.
we've overcome, and this can be not only personally, but this is for organization, this is for leaders and leadership, because we had to overcome a lot. And so I'll just wrap it up by saying that we've overcome when we were not allowed to read, get education, and now we stand head and shoulders with, we can be doctors, lawyers. Last time I checked, we have 1.7 millionaires of color in this
Hold
country,
that
and
thought. Hold
eight.
that thought. I want to get to Star Davis. Star, what are you doing?
I just finished producing a feature film, which hopefully will be out next year, and getting ready to produce another one that has an amazing script. Looking forward to acting in that one also, and I'm working on a fourth quarter issue of You Can magazine, bringing it back after 4 years. People have been asking for it.
So you can is what's the theme of you can? You can. Right? You can do it.
You
Right?
know?
I wrote a
Um,
song like that called Yes I Can.
yeah, yeah, it is.
Okay. Well, yes,
So
we are here to say,
So
yes, you can. You
so
can.
Rhonda, Rhonda, what's happening with you? You're
Well,
always doing something.
I want people to know that they can come to a free comedy show on October 21st at the Word Up Community Bookshop. That's in the Heights. And I'm at Comedy in Harlem on October 25th. But what I really want people to be aware of is my coloring book. I write political cartoons with a great illustrator, with Scott Williams. And I want you to know that I was censored. My book was restricted by my printer, and I had to find a new printer. They said the work was offensive, threatening, and violent.
Right on.
These political cartoons are satire, and I was a victim of free speech, but you can get your copy at RhondaHansome.com. Politunatics is the name of the coloring book for your mind. Politunatics. Go to RhondaHansome.com and order your copy before it's banned again.
Okay, then, all right. So we're gonna take a 5-minute break.
If you ever feel alone, say the word, I'll be right there. Sister talk, sister, 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 sister talk, sister, 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 sister talk, sister, sister, sister.
Stay tuned, everybody.
With me today, I am so happy to have this person here with me. I've always seen him throughout the years in Harlem, just walking and talking and doing his thing in the subways, out of the subways. He is a person that you can approach and talk to no matter who you are. Senator Bill Perkins. Yes. Who is Senator Bill Perkins? Where are you from?
I'm a native New Yorker.
Okay.
Born in the old Lincoln Hospital in the Bronx.
Wow, okay.
And raised for a part of my life in the Bronx. I was very fortunate, blessed with a mother by the name of Helen.
Oh, really?
Who raised me and my 3 brothers. And then we moved into Harlem just before we became teenagers. And so we were raised basically in Harlem. I went to a school called Collegiate School for boys.
Yeah, you got a scholarship.
Yeah,
That
full
was
scholarship. A full scholarship. And so it was affordable.
Right, okay.
Otherwise, I would have had to pay about $35,000 a year.
So where was this school
Collegiate
at?
School is in New York City. I was very fortunate from that point of view as well because I did not want to go to a boarding school outside of the city. And
so you were destined. Your parents knew that you were going to achieve higher education more than public school.
They knew that I was going to achieve higher education one way or another.
At such a young age,
you know, my family is very education oriented.
Oh, really? Okay.
So it wasn't a choice.
Where are your parents from?
From New York.
New York
for the most part, my mother, from the Bronx, though my grandmother came out of West Virginia.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
And my grandfather came out of West Virginia. And in fact, I'm named after my grandfather. His name was William.
Okay.
So in any case, you know, I went to collegiate, and then from collegiate I graduated from Brown University.
And you got a scholarship for that also, right?
Yeah,
Let's talk about the sisters. You know,
The sisters,
this is a
the
Sister Talk
sisters.
TV show, and this is Women's History Month.
Yay.
I just want to know, what are you and your office doing for your women constituents?
The political organization that I founded that was sort of the springboard for my activism in the neighborhood is called the Sojourner Truth Democratic Club.
Oh, wow, okay.
And so we founded that club in tribute to obviously her and the role that she has historically played, but also in recognition of my mother, my grandmother, and all the mothers of our community and sisters of our community who have played such a leadership role, not simply in nourishing us, but also in terms of creating opportunities above and beyond their family.
Okay, let's take this phone call. Caller, welcome to Sister Talk TV show. My guest today is Senator Bill Perkins. What do you have to say and where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Monica from Manhattan, Dietra.
Hi, Monica, how are you?
I'm great.
Thank you.
Hey, I want to return to the topic of education.
Okay.
Because, you know, certainly that is critical for our country to be successful. And I wanted to get the senator's viewpoint on the president's proposal for free tuition for junior colleges, because, you know, certainly enabling more education for people is great. Does he have any thoughts on that, or does he have any other ideas about that?
Okay, did you say free tuition? Free tuition for colleges?
Junior college.
Junior college, okay. All right, so.
You know, I think that's a great question and a very timely question as we are going through a period of redefining sometimes who we are, and in that redefining, we move away from that which made us as good as we are, and New York City in its grandness moments understood the value of free tuition and the value of education. And so I am surely supportive of free tuition. It was a hallmark of our city university system, and many of the giants of our city and of our nation benefited from that. And so it's unfortunate that that approach was to some extent pulled back on. But I think that higher education, whether it be in terms of community colleges or four-year colleges, is a great investment in our young people. And the more we do that type of investment in our young people, the more they feel that they are cherished, and the more they feel that they have a way to not only succeed but also to give back. And so when you have a community like New York City, where you are encouraging young people and supporting them in terms of their higher education, it's very, very likely that upon their success, they will return home.
Welcome back. What you just saw was an interview with New York City Councilman, the late Bill Perkins. He represented the 30th District here in New York City. There's a street that's about to be named after him. What made Eric Adams not electable?
All that Turkish taffy. You know he was getting money from Turkey. And then he got an aide. One of his longtime aides offered a journalist $150 in a bag of potato chips. I mean, it should have been at least $500 in a carton of eggs.
You know what today's price is, right?
I feel very bad for poor Eric Adams. First of all, I know people who know him, and everyone claims he's not the nicest person. And it was not the Turkish taffy that bothered me about him at all, because it reminds me very much of, let me give you an analogy, of fur coats. You know, women were wearing fur coats everywhere. And then when African-American women started wearing fur coats too, suddenly PETA came out and said no more fur coats.
Yes.
Well, I know, and so politicians have been taking trips with foreign governments as long as I have been alive. And I have never heard it. And it's not as if, with the Turks, it was about their own building. Apparently, they didn't get permission from the fire department to open this building that they had. Yes.
They went around the sprinkler system.
Yeah. So to me, if they weren't doing anything that was going to affect anyone or anything. And this so-called trip that he took, I have been on trips and seen politicians. So I know they've been doing it forever. And suddenly with a black mayor, you cannot take a trip. So I really don't, that was not a make or break thing for me with Eric Adams, because in reality, he is really, since he's been in office, a lot of things have gotten done here in the city.
But he was one of the few mayors in the country that had put women, period, in high positions. But
they railroaded them also. But one thing with Eric Adams that nobody could deny is that crime absolutely went down. So he
exactly.
Why do you think they were after him though? Why do you think
that? Let me just give a little bit more about this, because when Eric Adams came into office, he had a long tenure as Brooklyn Borough President. And he knew how things worked in this city. That's why I think he was able to get so many things done so quickly. He knew what to do. And they were planning for him, because remember, all of these are jobs that always went to the quote unquote usual suspects. And suddenly there was a whole new crew of black and brown people in all of these positions.
And that's my point. That's what I want to say. Is it because that he was asking for Biden let the borders open and let all these people come in without being vetted? Or is it, or could it be that he wasn't hiring the people that they wanted him to hire.
That's what I think it is, because in reality they went after, it's like they circled the wagons and they went from him from the outside in. They went to all of the people he appointed, one after another, finding something wrong,
Resigned
creating a
or
situation.
indicted.
What'd you
Yes.
say, Rhonda? What'd you say?
All everybody in his office either resigned or was indicted. They was
Well,
jacked on something or another.
well,
But you
you know,
know,
in this
it's
town, don't they always tell you that you can indict a ham sandwich with the if you have the right information? Indictments are not that difficult to get, because look what's happening right now on the federal level. They're
right.
indicting
Right.
everyone. I'm laughing about John Bolton because he was the creepiest creep, and you know, and they have him now, but they're feeding on themselves.
Absolutely,
But you know,
thing themselves and his own appointments. He's jacking up people who were there for him.
Well, one thing I remember about that will always stick with me with Eric Adams, and we probably started our careers about this. Well, not really, but around the time I was telling you about doing the organization and Tish James getting into politics, Eric Adams was one of the first to jump in with both feet when in our city in about 2010, when we had young people lining each other up and killing them. And he started that organization in NYPD at a time when I think Giuliani was the mayor, and the 100 blacks in law enforcement who care. When we were at a loss as to what to do, like we are now with this, he was that one person that jumped in and did it. And that's how he started his career. Started in NYCHA housing as a cop. He went to NYPD, became a captain, and that man has always done things to better the community. So I'm very careful about how I judge things when I look at things, because you just don't know. And this is what I mean about people
Well, you know,
people
Rosalind,
don't know what behind the scenes is going
you're
on until
behind
you
the
got.
scenes. You're behind the scenes. So didn't he start up stop and frisk again?
Now, with the stop and frisk, you have to look at that in context of what is going on in the country. See,
I believe in
may I
context.
answer the question?
No, but yes, he did start it up
No,
again.
I want to answer the question. So I'll just say
Oh,
this. Yeah, thank you. It's just like it's a good thing. I think people should hear this. What I think about that, because you asked me. But I'm going to make it quick too, because we don't have a lot of time. See, I'm right now grappling. So I kind of feel kind of good about, when you talk. Trump is talking about the putting the National Guard and doing to the cities. One part of me says, in some instances, yeah, like I said, we just had a 3-year-old who was killed. And we just had before that a 14-year-old who was killed. And then before that, and this has been going on, I was asked to get involved in youth violence from an NYPD official. So let me wrap it up. So what I'm saying is, it's like it's not that black and white. I'm not going to say, okay, yes, stop and frisk is a problem, but when you have to, some things you do because of the circumstances. Sometimes things are just that bad. I can go into a whole lot of other examples. So all I'm trying to say is, when we look at these things, we shouldn't look at them in a microscope. We shouldn't look at it in a silo. We have to understand the broader of what's going on in our communities. And we're not doing anything about these kids getting killed. What are we doing?
But I would like to add this. I'd like to add this, but from my sources from Washington, D.C., when the troops came in, the National Guard came in, they didn't go into the neighborhoods that were having the violent crimes.
No, that's the part I don't agree with.
Yeah, so that's but you know,
this is another, but this is yet another example. And here's the thing, I don't mean to be pessimistic, and I'm absolutely all about communicating on how to move into the future, but it's not a coincidence. It is deliberate attacks. Deliberate hits.
Well, can I bring in, because you were going on about the child being killed.
Let me
The
just say this
child was
one
not. The
thing.
child was killed
I mean, I'm
by
sorry.
a.
I didn't mean
Go ahead,
to
Dana. The child,
diminish that
No, no,
point.
the child was killed by a weapon. And to me, that is more of the issue. How are weapons getting into our community?
that's a part of
I
the issue.
remember, so I'm saying, so it's not just going after the stop and frisk. Where are the guns coming from for them to even have them to be frisked?
Cassie and Sean Combs. I know that case has been closed, and it may be old news, but it's still relevant because something else is happening um, right now that's comparable to Cassie and Sean Combs. So let's talk about that. Do you all think that was a toxic relationship, or was it um, domestic violence or prostitution? I don't even know how to lump that in. That was just
Well, look,
weird. I've never been in.
as a,
Go ahead.
I think I'm the most senior person in this grouping here. So I would say,
You can take it
I
on. I don't mind.
okay. I know Rhonda. I know you. I know we're around that same venue area, but I have to say we came through the sexual revolution. I have seen things in my time coming up during the 60s and stuff that would make your curl your toes and curl your hair and everything. I have seen all sorts of things going on. So everyone acts like this stuff with Diddy was something new. It is not. It has been going on from time immemorial. And as for Cassie, that was a horrible instance of domestic abuse. But then on the other hand, the reason they didn't convict him for more is because after that incident, she was on phones talking about, oh, I want to do it again. Let's do it again. So this is an issue that people have to start taking responsibility for what's happening in their lives. And I know there's the whole psychological thing of women who are abused women and all of this. But there's also the idea of sadomasochism. I know that was a big thing for a while, and we don't know what was really going on because going back, that makes
And
me
that's something else.
think.
Rhonda, what you say about that? I see you like this. Is it the one?
Oh, you're
you,
right.
you're on mute. You're on mute.
I don't have any experience with that, Dietra. Say no mass.
All right, Star.
And baby oil may possibly disintegrate the condom. So I don't know. I don't have. And I and Dana is not wrong. But the focus on Diddy, I think, was really a distraction because
Yes.
Omni and Fitch guy was doing the same thing with male models. Harvey Weinstein was doing his thing. A lot of the network anchor people were assaulting people. It is a regular thing in the industry, and I think that the prosecutors really took a misstep by collecting a lot of things that would not stand up to the scrutiny that they needed for RICO.
And look at this today. I just have to bring this up now because right at this moment, because Rhonda is right, and it's Dana like banana, Rhonda.
I'm sorry, Dana.
That's okay. That's okay. I'm thinking about this release of George Santos. We're busy talking about. Come on, we're busy.
Okay,
talking about
we'll
Diddy.
get on
was
that.
on my mind.
We'll get on that. But I want to stay with Cassie and Sean Combs because a lot of people, and this is what I'm hearing from the streets. What about Diddy? What about he came into an industry where they told him, man, you can do whatever you want. Yes, you can grab a woman by her vagina. You can do what you want. You are king. You
Exactly.
are this. He was fueled with drugs and all that. What about that?
Yeah, well, the vagina grabber was indicted, was convicted of rape. So there's a line. Like, yeah, you can be a
Well,
victim.
Cassie said that too. Cassie said that. Well, didn't she say that she was raped as well? She was forced to do prostitution. She desensitized herself by taking drugs.
And I mean, even that whole
So
bit
my
about her
point
calling
was,
him, saying that she wanted to do it again.
But that's
She could
Stockholm
she could have
syndrome.
she could have been in a desperate financial situation. She could have had, who knows? She could have been taking care of her whole family
Which she was.
that he was
Which
My
she
with.
point
was.
bringing
Okay.
up what
And
I
they could
brought
have
up
been
was that
pressuring
the
her.
fact
She could
that,
have been under all kinds of what have you. You don't know why somebody, a young girl, there are so many girls out here who have no kind of sense of self-worth, who would actually put themselves through that, not by consent, but by not even knowing their own sense of worth,
well,
be able to say no. So I would never
I
put
wrote
that
about
joke
it.
on her, or even I don't even feel like she should be held to the same set of standards.
Well, like I
I think
said before, though, it's
I
been
think
going
that the
on. It's
Stockholm
been go-
syndrome is alive. Number one,
okay,
and
but
I
but
just did an
but
article. I just did an article about narcissists and psychopaths, and how they operate. And when you look into that, it's easy for someone who would not ordinarily even engage in something like that to get trapped in it. So when she's saying, I want to do it again, if your finances is connected to the person who isolated you, who cut you off from your family, you don't have money and you're dependent on them, and then they make you know that if you want this, you have to please me. So your personality, so this, it's too much. There are layers and layers of stuff to things like this that it's just not a thing of saying, well, they should have did this and they should have did that. But my point was this. The point was this, with the Diddy and the fact that there may have been something done to him and he may have been traumatized. When you break the law, I look at it from that standpoint. I understand people have gone through things in life and sometimes there are extenuating circumstances. But once you break that law, you are responsible. And I know they went after him, but the bottom line, it doesn't excuse you from the laws and being prosecuted, even though people have gotten away with it for decades. And he was that deal that he did with the liquor company, they went after him because he was trying to do some things too. So
And there
yeah,
was
you know,
deeper than this.
but the other
it could be
issue
a
is,
lot
it's
of
like
things.
when
Yeah.
I brought up before about people. Listen, you know, I understand about Stockholm syndrome. I come from a psychotherapy background. On one end, my dad was a therapist, and I worked with him in his office extensively. But I also know, and I guess I'm going off of personal experiences from being in this industry. I remember there was a young man who was talking to me. I was in a show, and I kept and I kept avoiding it because I kept seeing he's talking to me, but I kept seeing guys coming by to see him.
Oh
So
wow.
one day he asked us, and I said, "Well, what is going on with you?" He said, "Well, Dana," he says, I really want to be a star. So I'm going to do whatever I have to do to be a star." And he did. He ended up in a film with Cicely Tyson and with Richard Pryor and all of this. And he made it. He made it to what he thought was the top, but he's also dead now
Yeah,
because
yeah. A lot of people do that. A lot of people, not just in the entertainment industry, but freelance
exactly.
all over the city, businesses, nonprofit corporation, and community
Yes,
theater.
people do
So
what they
no,
think could get them
yeah.
ahead. And
So
this is the
let's
other
go
thing.
ahead to go with singer D'Angelo. Dies
Oh
from
my God.
pancreatic cancer at age 51. Now, you know that was very very sad. After that video when he was like half naked, it sort of just bothered him. You know, he was telling people this
Well,
is
that's
not
what they said.
who
They
I
said
am.
he was upset about being considered a sex symbol, and but I look at it from another angle because the music business, which I am also a part of, is one of the most corrupt parts of the entertainment industry
Right.
that there is. And I remember his ex his his son's mother, Angie Stone. She came out. She did this long video about how she's been cheated out of her money and that she's doing this investigation
You know
and that
something,
she's done.
Diana? Zakkee wanted me to say, why are these singers, young singers, 40s and 50s, are not living a long life? Look, you know, they did all this
Well, but
work.
this is what I'm saying because now people know more. They used to do this in the old days. Remember when Otis Redding started complaining about his money, suddenly his plane crashed. That
Yeah.
happened. That's what they used to do in the old days. They used to do
And
something to your plane and you would be dead. This happened to so many singers, so many artists. You ask too much, too many questions. Next thing you are dead.
so
And Angie was in a car accident and she's the only one that died. Come
yeah,
on. They
yeah.
have policies. Also, if the artist doesn't own his masters, they are more beneficial to the industry dead because they don't get the money. Exactly.
Girls who went
Yes.
to and killed Sharon Tate. I remember years, many moons ago, they did an interview.
And they're still in
60
there.
Minutes.
Still,
Yeah, 60 Minutes somebody did an interview. And one of them said that you never know what you will do.
That's
How
right.
people can manipulate
That's
you.
right. That
And I
is
never
so true.
forgot that.
You never
But
know. I'm
But
telling
this is a good show to talk about it. Cassie, if you're listening, Sean, if you're listening, just we're talking about it. That's all I can say. We're just talking about it.
And I wrote a book that can help people with that. That's the point of this book. It helps people heal their trauma so that they can recognize these patterns, these a mile away. And if you're stuck in it, it helps you to know what you need to do to get out. It really does, because it can happen to anyone. Yeah, you never know.
Okay, everybody, we have to close the show and move on. I want to thank each and every one of you all for attending Sister Talk TV show. We've been out for a while, but this year we are going to be more consistent. And, I think it's kind of sweet that all three of these sisters in some way has helped me out with Whose Side Are You On? The gospel, hip-hop, faith-based musical about gang and gun violence. Dana, who played the First Lady. ROZALYN, I needed some actors real quickly. Don noticed. The other person wasn't available. She came through. And also, Star Davis was the stage manager. I'll give you all a call again. Okay. So thank you all again. Again, this is Dietra Kelsey, and I want to thank Zakkee Starman for creating this wonderful platform in the show itself. Remember, I am wishing you peace, love, and remember to stay in the light. And if you miss any part of this show, you can catch us on Facebook.com/SISTAH, SISTAH, Talk TV show.
Something on your mind anytime. I'm here to listen. Sister Talk. When you need someone who understands, I know what you're missing. Sister Talk. No matter what you're going through, don't worry, I ain't going nowhere. Sister Talk. If you ever feel alone, say the word, I'll be right there. Sister Talk. Sister, 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 sister talk, sister, 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 sister talk, sister, 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 sister talk.